Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Free Guy. This is a 2021 film. This is brand new, practically. Well, it came out in the summer of 2021. I saw it in the theaters, and it was one of the few films we were still starting to come out of that, at least here. Even though we have seems like a billion movie theaters in LA, we were a lot more cautious about opening up theaters than some other parts of the country. But yeah, this is an hour and 57 minutes long, and of course it stars Ryan Reynolds and is I can't remember if it was a big hit or not. I would imagine this is the kind of movie that, had it not happened during a pandemic, probably would have ruled the summer, and maybe it did. I just don't recall, but I don't normally keep track of all that stuff, but all the time. But yeah, you gotta do. This is very much an action comedy that is rooted in a very specific generation. I say that because my brother took my mom to see this movie, and my mom had no idea what was going on. If you take into consideration how old I am, you can take into consideration how old, at least, how old my mom is. And she was just like, oh, let's get out of the house and see a movie, because my brother wanted to go see one. He wanted somebody to go with. Why not? And his wife wasn't interested. So they went to see it, and she had no no understanding of what Ryan Reynolds was. And in this, for anybody of my age or younger who has played an open world game, whether it's, I mean, by the way, there's humongous references to just about every open world game, whether it's like Grand Theft Auto, or Watch Dogs, or Fortnite and Overwatch and everything else, just everything in between. At least the ones set in a modern world, not necessarily like Witcher or whatever. It's definitely, this is set in the modern day world, and it's in a world just called Free City. And Ryan Reynolds is a non-player character, an NPC, who has no idea that's what he is. This is his world. He lives in a loop where he wakes up, says good morning to his goldfish, eats breakfast while watching the TV, and then he goes to work at the bank and does what he's supposed to do, falls to the ground every time it gets robbed, which happens frequently because in games like Grand Theft Auto, all the real people who are playing the characters, that's what they do to make money in some cases. So yeah, it kind of puts that game playing in a different light if you've ever played any of those games. I have played Grand Theft Auto since the beginning, and I haven't played it so much recently. It's something I just don't have the time for. It would suck all my life away. But yeah, I have everything up through the current Grand Theft Auto 5. 6 is coming soon. I don't know. But yeah, it's you get to, there's so many different references just in the background, throughout the background, so many little Easter eggs and so many little references, just players running into walls and jumping and just getting stuck between things, just stuff that has nothing to do with the story that we have seen in games and multiplayer online games that are just dumb fun. This, by the way, one unique thing about this, I imagine this is this is only visible if you have not an adult. I shouldn't say an adult. It's just the non-kids profile, because this does have the first F word. I don't know if okay. Maybe it's not the first F word, but it's like Adventures in Babysitting. They edited it out. Don't fool with the babysitter. That's what they did with that one. I don't know if that got changed since. Here, Ryan Reynolds, 30 minutes in, gets to use an F bomb. And I mean, even with a PG-13 film, which is definitely is, there's violence in it, but it's cartoonish violence in a sense. It's video game violence. It's not so bloody. It's certainly not as bloody as Grand Theft Auto is, but it's, or Fortnite or anything else. It's just, yeah, the F word would be the only thing that would elevate it to an rated R, but you get one. So in this, like I said, he plays an NPC who is awakened from his loop of a life when he meets the perfect girl that he's always wanted, and that is she's played by Jodie Comer, and I can't tell if she's actually British or not. I should probably just click on her name here on IMDb and find out, but I'm not going to bother doing that. That's she plays her character's British, but she plays an American girl in the real world, and in the real world, she's a programmer who had a sort of a hand. I won't say exactly how, but it had a hand in making this game. And when they see this character suddenly going outside of his predetermined programming, it causes a ruckus in the real world amongst the company that owns the game, and different people have different things at stake, including the owner and the CEO of the company, played by Taika Waititi. Oh my God, Taika. Jeez, why would I know who Taika is? Taika Waititi. Taika is the director of Thor, Ragnarok, Thor: Love and Thunder, What We Do in the Shadows co-creator, and also he appears in that, but in the film, but also guest appears in the series. He is on HBO, I think it is. Our Flag Means Death. He plays Blackbeard the pirate. He's everywhere, but he plays, in a sense, the villain of our story here, and he's a complete jerk, but he's wonderfully depicted as a complete jerk. Joe Keely is one of our main protagonists. You might know Joe from Stranger Things. Probably that's the biggest thing you would know him from. And he and Millie, who is Jodie Comer, team up to figure out what's going on with Free Guy, and trying to figure out what's going on with him and his secret. Who is this person they believe is an actual person messing with the system? It becomes very surprising to them when they find out that he's not a real person. And then it goes completely off the rails. When everything is kind of figured out and we figure they're meeting their the culmination, again, I'm not spoiling anything, you still got almost an hour to go in the film. Well, like 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes to go in the film. Like by the time they reach the apex of the second act, it's kind of, there's a lot to this. I mean, it's got lots of big Ryan Reynolds energy. It's like all of his, he expresses himself. This time he just doesn't have to wear a big red and black mask as Deadpool, but he's an innocent in this, whereas Deadpool is a very knowing character, let's just say. In this, Guy is just complete sweetness, kindness, and goodness, and that also is a thing that messes with the game because people who play Free City certainly do not play it to be good people. Again, this is very much a reflection on gaming society. Speaking of which, gaming society, in a sense, does show up in this. There's a number of live streamers and online personalities who live stream their games who actually appear in this game. I don't know who any of them are. I've seen a few live streamers. I don't really watch them, but I'm of an age where I do not watch that kind of stuff religiously. A few times I'll watch clips, but I'm not like, oh, I gotta sit and watch somebody play a game for 6 hours. Yeah, it's not gonna be a thing I do. What? Do you have a life? What? Well, not that everybody else does. I'm just saying that sometimes when you're a teenager, you might not have as much going on as somebody like me. Mm-hmm. So, if you love Ryan Reynolds, either for his mind, his voice, or his body, or his pretty face, this is a film for you. Obviously, he and his best friend, played by Lil Rel Howery, his name's Buddy. He's just his buddy. He helps his job beyond just messing with the game in order to impress the girl he likes, is to change some of the minds of people around him, including Buddy, to see if they can also break out of that loop. But is there something special about Guy that makes him different from everybody else? You have to see. You have to watch the movie. Again, if this is directed by Sean Levy, who did one of the Deadpools, second Deadpool. Yeah. Or the first. I don't know. Yeah, well, I can't remember offhand. Um, he did. Yes, he did. Come on. Oh, he also directed some. Oh, he's produced Stranger Things. Come on. Come on. I was gonna say, like, this is the one I go hunting for, and he's done a lot of stuff. Anyway, Sean Levy, Free Guy. By the way, speaking of which, nobody. I say I don't watch people streaming on videos, and yet I'm here expecting you to watch this. Warts and all. No warts, but still. I'm wearing a different T-shirt though. It's appropriate for the movie, sort of. Not that anybody enters initials anymore in video games that they play at home online with a camera on them. Either way, lots of good fun, lots of good characterization, lots of that takes a nod at just everything we love and hate about gaming, especially the current culture. There are tons of little cameos. There's little cameos. I'm going to give you one that you will not recognize. It's not much of a spoiler. He's not a major character or anything else. But Hugh Jackman, yes, Ryan's buddy, Wolverine, Deadpool's buddy, Wolverine. Hugh Jackman does a small cameo, but you never see his face. He is the guy in the alley that Molotov talks to and gives her the information. You don't. You just hear his voice. That's it. But it might have been a completely different actor in the costume. I have no idea. But yeah, it's Hugh Jackman as the informant. So beyond that, there are other cameos of people you will recognize here and there. One pretty huge one. And by the way, this is a movie that was made by 20th Century Fox just before the time they got acquired by Disney. So it became part of Disney's release schedule, and of course it's Ryan Reynolds, and still it's got a great cast, it's got a great concept, and I don't know if it got softened for a Disney audience or not. This could have easily been a rated R film in some ways, just for language at times, but and it could have been a whole lot bloodier too. Could have been a lot more violent, but I think the film is good natured, and so it doesn't dig too deeply into the darker tones that you get when you do online gaming, especially along the lines of GTA and things like that. So it is for the whole family, especially if you're an adult watching this for whatever reason, and you have kids who are online gaming all the time. This is very much within their wheelhouse. They will pretty much get all the references to Fortnite, Marvel, and Star Wars, and other stuff for the older folks. Did I say anything? Did I say what those things were? You didn't understand what I said? That's all right. Be surprised. There's some neat little references, crossovers, and such throughout this. It's a multiverse. It's not a multiverse, but yeah, it does have a pretty strong Fortnite connection. Yeah, so it's good fun. I highly recommend it. This is the kind of movie I could watch over and over and over again. It's like kind of like that feel good thing we had a couple days ago with Cool Runnings, where it's got that same trope though, the same trope where the hero is battling injustice and the world is watching, and just like it was in Cool Runnings, the world is watching, and it adds to the height and the stakes, and it matters to the world what this guy does next. So good fun. Let's check tomorrow's episode.
248.
248. I'm losing my voice. It's this brand new T-shirt. 248. Oh, 248. Yeah. This is a series. I've been wanting to see this for a while because a friend of mine is one of the writers on it. And it stars Zendaya. Teen Zendaya, before she became MJ, big deal, superstar. Yeah, this is Kirby Buckets. So, All right. I'm gonna finally get to see some Kirby buckets. He's talked about it, and I've never. Well, I just didn't watch the Disney Channel, and it wasn't on Disney Plus at first, and eventually only just got added like last year or so. And I knew eventually it was going to show up in the randomization, and now it has, and now I get to watch it. So, Kirby buckets is next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.